We'll start with the safety briefing by the hotel staff. If you could, yep. Thank you so much, and I'd like to invite the hotel staff for the safety briefing now, please.
Sawadee. Good morning. Welcome to Le Méridien Chiang Mai. My name is Kai. I am the Lodge Division Manager of this hotel. I would like to give you a quick brief about the hotel safety standards and procedure. We have an emergency response team, or ERT, who is trained on first aid, firefighting. They are on standby and ready to react to any emergency situations 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Le Méridien Chiang Mai meeting rooms, public areas, each area has sprinklers, smoke detectors for fans on every meeting room and restroom door, indicating the closest emergency exit. In addition to that, we have public address speakers in all public areas. The public address speaker is automated and cascaded accordingly. CCTV in public areas, generator to cover power failure. In the event of emergency, please do not panic. Follow the instruction given by our emergency response team over the public address system. We will guide you to safe areas. Today, we do not have any fire drill training. If there is any incident occurs in the hotel or in the meeting room, please do not panic. If you hear the announcements and sound alarm or see floodlights activated, our associates will guide you from this room to the nearest fire exit door and walk down to the front of the hotel where you see the hotel lounge. That is the FCB point. Now you are meeting on the fourth floor and there are 6 fire exit doors. If you go out from this room, you can see the nearest fire exit door is on your right hand side and opposite of this room. You can go down to the SB point on ground floor. Thank you very much. Sawadee.
Good morning all again. It's the first time I'm wearing my glasses in an APNIC conference. My name is Sunny Chendi. I'm one of the APNIC staff, and I manage the program, conference program. So I'm here to welcome you all to the opening ceremony of at APNIC 48. And I also would like to welcome our distinguished guest sitting in the front here, Professor Kanchana Kansasut, Air Marshal Thanapant Raicharan, Ms. Kun Maragot, and our APNIC Executive Council Chairman Gaurav Upadhyaya and APNIC Director General Paul Wilson. So we will begin with a few welcome remarks, and then we have 2 keynote speakers, Narelle and Jobs. We'll talk more about their presentations later. But I would like to welcome now our APNIC Chairman Gaurav Raj Upadhyaya.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to APNIC 48, and thank you for joining us here in Chiang Mai. I am Gaurav Rajpadhyay, as Sunny said. For those of you who don't know me, and I think we have a lot of newcomers today, so I'm sure a lot of you don't know me. I'm the chairman of the APNIC Executive Council. We generally all kind of the board of APNIC. And so today, it's an honor to have all of you here, including the Deputy Secretary General of the Thailand NBTC, Air Marshal Thanapan, Kun Kanchana, whom all of us know. We also have Kun Maragat, the chairwoman of the Thai ISP Association, We also have a lot of friends here from APNIC and other Thai organizations who helped us put the meeting together. Before I go further, a big thanks to APNIC and the Thai ISP Association, whose support has made this event possible here in Chiang Mai. And of course, the representatives from APNIC and the Thai ISP Association, both of whom are here as well. And then I'll talk a little bit more about our keynote speakers later. But, while I'm in the process of thanking everyone, of course, events don't get done by themselves. Big thanks to our big sponsors, ADREX and ByteDance, as well as all the other sponsors that are there. Big thanks to you who help us put this event together. Now, it's kind of, well, first of all, it's very fantastic to be here in Thailand, and especially in Chiang Mai, which I think is an expression of saying not in Bangkok, because we've been to many of these meetings in Bangkok. But when I look back, the last time an APNIC meeting in Thailand was in Bangkok, and that was a long time ago, in 2002. Since then, we've tried to come a few times, but it hasn't worked out. And so we are really, really glad that we are able to come here for an APNIC meeting, and hopefully in future, for future apricots, back to Thailand. Thailand and APNIC go a long way back, and I think Khun Kanchana is going to talk about some of it, so I'll not talk about it. But over the years, since 2002 and now, a lot of things has happened. And now, in fact, that was my first APNIC meeting. And back then, I think I had a lot more hair. Paul had a lot more hair. But, it's kind of full circle for me being back here in Thailand for an APNIC meeting after so many years. Back then, I was a newcomer, like a lot of people here. And, hopefully you won't take 17 years to come back to Thailand next time. But then, talking about these many years, I remember 2002 when we came to Apricot, we were trying to teach people how to do V6. In fact, we are talking about this is how we may be able to do V6 in a production network. The SIDR, or routing security, was, at least for me, felt like some balloony, because we're still struggling with getting proper routing done. Today, we're still trying to do V6. That has not changed, but routing security is real, and we'll hear about it from our keynote speaker later today. And we have a full day later in the week on RPKI and related security around our routing system. Because as you'll hear throughout the week with our program, we are quite dependent on the internet today, right? 2002, when I came to Thailand, that was also my first time in Thailand, I had a paper ticket, right? And a lot of you in this room probably think, what is a paper ticket for an airplane, right? And so things have moved on quite a bit. Today, if I don't have internet, I probably can't even get on a plane because the boarding pass is on a phone, right? So things have moved, and so has Thailand. I was trying to look up, and I got some data earlier. Thailand is pretty unique that there are 92 million mobile phone subscriptions in this country. You know why that is so unique? Because the population is only 69 million. And the broadband penetration is 57 million internet users, broadband internet users in Thailand. And then, I didn't get time to look at the statistics on the broadband speed, but yesterday we had our EC meeting, and there's someone in the EC meeting who always goes and does bandwidth tests everywhere he goes. And he came shouting in the room saying, I got 300 Mbps up and down, and we couldn't believe him. So, you see that how much the progress has been made. So enough about that. One of the key messages I always try to express in these meetings is these conferences are also places where we interact with each other. You are not here just to listen to, gray hairs or people with less hair falling off on the stage, but also to talk to each other, learn from each other, and share your experiences about doing things on the internet, so that we build a better, resilient internet. And I encourage all of you to do that. Right? The other things are, there is a lot of newcomers here. Generally, all of us old comers, or old, not really gray-beard, but people who've been around. We welcome you to talk to us, any one of you, anytime. And I think I express that sentiment in half of everyone who's been coming to these meetings for a long time. So if you are a newcomer, please don't be shy. Feel free to talk to someone that you feel like you need to talk to or know something about. This is a very, very big opportunity for you to learn from others, and I'm sure that all of us who've been doing this for a while are happy to share that with you. So having said that, that is all serious. We also have a lot of fun. We have a lot of parties in the evening. There is a social event today, tomorrow, day after. I think almost every day there is something happening in the evening. Social events are a good time to go mix and talk to people as well. So please come to the social events, participate in the sessions. We have an astounding number of participants this week. Enjoy the coffee and the food at the tea breaks. This has been one of those, wonderful tea break food that I've seen. So enjoy that. And I henceforth officially declare the meeting open, APNIC 48 in Chiang Mai. And welcome once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav. Now I'd like to invite Air Marshal Thanapat Raicharan, please, to give his welcome remarks.
So, Mr. Gaurav Raj, Chairman of the APNIC, and Mr. Paul Wilson, Director of the APNIC. APNIC members, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, and good morning, and sawadee krap. I'm Dr. Thanapat Raicharan. Yeah? And first of all, I would like to thank the APNIC for inviting me to give a welcome remark here today. Yeah? And on behalf of the Office of National Broadcasting and Telecommunication Commission, or in short, NBTC, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to the APNIC 48 conference in Chiang Mai province, where is the most tourist attraction in the northern part of Thailand. We are very delighted to have all of you to participate in this conference. And I will tell you a little bit about the MBTC. As probably everyone knows that the MBTC is the independent regulatory body of Thailand. And the MBTC has the duty to manage spectrum and to regulate the broadcasting and telecommunication sector. And as well as the MBTC has the duty to protect consumer and also to provide the Universal Service Obligation, or USO. And all other countries, MBTC is allying our effort in the improvement of telecom sector along with our national development. You can see, for example, we have done the 3G spectrum auction in 2012, and after this auction in Thailand, the number of the internet user has been significantly increasing. In the year 2014, ITU announced the report of the measurement, the Information Society, showed that Thailand had the highest internet user growth globally. And the reason for the growth came from the improvement of the 3G infrastructure and accessibility, including from cheaper smartphones, which people can afford, and the people can access internet via mobile phone. And in the year 2015, we have done the 4G spectrum again. After that, the people can use high-speed internet broadband for watching movie and any kind of multimedia via mobile phone. And now, the number of internet users in Thailand is almost 50 million. However, the number of the mobile subscriber, sorry, I have to correct you said, you mentioned before that the number of subscribers in Thailand is 92 million. But now, right now, the number of the subscribers in Thailand is over 120 million. I have to correct your speech. Yeah. Even though, but you're right, even though the population in Thailand is 69 million. So Thailand is now one of the world leaders for time spent on the internet and mobile internet per day, especially for social media use. For example, Thai people spend the most time on internet at almost 5 hours, especially for Facebook. Facebook is the number one that the Thai people spend on it. It's about 1 hour and 36 minutes. And right now we have about 54 million Facebook subscribers in Thailand. And at the moment, MBTC is on the process of preparation for 5G. We are now considering the spectrum band for 5G. And the candidate band for 5G are, for example, 2.6 gigahertz and 3.5 gigahertz for mid-band, and 26 and 28 gigahertz for higher band. And the challenge of the 5G is not only the spectrum, but also the use case, or what is the application or queuing app for it. Therefore, we are cooperate with the university in our region in Thailand to set up the 5G test-bed center in order to research and to create use case for 5G. In Central Pass, the Chulalongkorn University is cooperate with MBTC to be at test base. But in northern part of Thailand, the Chiang Mai University is the one of the test beds for 5G. So now we have planned to launch the 5G in commercial next year, if it's possible. And we strongly believe that it is a big jump for the communication sector. But if we impact not only the telecom sector, but also other vertical industry, such as automobile sector, once the car can be self-driving via 5G, or healthcare sector, once every medical sensor can send the data from our body via internet to the doctor or to hospital. So the Internet of Things, or IoT, can be implemented full scale. So now the internet user is not only human anymore, but all of device. Therefore, the demand for internet users will become more and more. And right now, we have 5 mobile operators, and also the MBTC also give the license for the ISP and internet gateway. At the moment, we have 223 ISP and 23 internet gateway. It's quite a big number for a small country like Thailand. But I think the more number, the better for the consumer. So they can have a choice, and the market is still open right now for free and fair competition. We are trying to encourage the internet growth and promote the country through sustainable digital economy and society. And after internet growth, the economy or society become more digital. Cybersecurity will also become more and more concerned. And I think that cybersecurity is one of the big issues today and in the future that we have to face. I hope that the knowledge and experience from all of guest speakers in this conference can be shared and get more benefit for the participants and of course for our country. And lastly, I wish the conference will be successful. And once again, welcome to Thailand. And I hope you enjoy staying here in Chiang Mai. So thank you very much. ขอบคุณครับ
Thank you, Air Marshal, for your presence and for sharing your local experience. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to invite Professor Kanchana. Gaurav said many of us know, and she's a very well supporter of internet in Thailand. Do we have the slides?
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. I think I will be quite brief because I think I know many people in this room. So welcome old friends and welcome also new friends, particularly those who are new to the APNIC community. Right. I like to, on behalf of the one of the local organizer, APNIC Foundation, I'd like to welcome you to Chiang Mai. I'm part of the Lana region. I mean, I was born in the north of Thailand, so I feel at home in Chiang Mai. Okay. Let me tell you a little bit about Chiang Mai to those of you who had no time to look at why and what is Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai was the capital of the old Alana kingdom, which was a kingdom of, comprising some part of Myanmar, some part of Laos, and northern part of Thailand. So my hometown, Tak, part of my hometown belonged to the old Lana kingdom as well. And it only became officially a province of Siam in 1932. But before that, it was already part of Thailand, but officially became a province in 1932. And by today, Chiang Mai is has been listed as the UNESCO Creative City of Craft and Folk Arts in 2017. So you can enjoy shopping in Chiang Mai and you get very nice, handicrafts and a lot of you find a lot of creative center, art center around the city. Okay, so since I'm from .th, part of my life belongs to .th, so I like to tell you a little bit about it. .th was registered 30 years ago, actually 31 years ago, because we were trying to use email at that time, and we used the system from Australia, and they wanted us to use the instead of using the UUCP mailing address, they wanted to use the internet mailing address format. So we had to register .th, even though we were not on we were not directly on the internet at that time. So 30 years for the TH, but during the first from 1988 to 1999, we did not charge for any registration fee because everything was done by our students. So we used free labor and free everything. So, so everything was free. We became, fully operational in 1999, and we set up THNIC company, THNIC Foundation later on. Right now, we only have around 72,000 domain name, and with .thai in Thai language, we have almost 20,000 domain name. So you see that we are very small, but you may ask why are we small, and yet we still keep going. The reason why we are small because we have strong, kind of strict requirements for people who register domain name. So we require official documents, and our policy is made from multi-stakeholder communities, from government, from private sector, and from all kind of users. So the idea of adopting official document is not it's from me, okay? It's from the community. So another problem was people, general public has very limited knowledge about domain name. And I just learned today from my colleague, Kun Marakot, that Thai society is a consumer society. They don't care about the product. They just buy and use the product. So they don't understand domain name. They just buy domain name just in order to be on the internet. Doesn't matter where. So that is the that reflects the situation where we are in. Okay, so even given that we are small, we still keep our interest in taking part in the infrastructure development. One of the projects that we support is to set up rural ISP, where you can see that we had a net-to-home social enterprise, and that kind of taking care of the last meters access for rural community. Okay, this started from adopting our firmware that developed by my lab, and we put that in a very small handheld access point, and we install that in rural areas where the ISP were not, at that time, were not present. So the children in the village could enjoy the internet connection for their own, doing their homework and so on. So that was the beginning of it since 2013. And right now, as we are slow and we are small, so we now have about 21 communities that join this this service, and about 200 plus households, and more than 1,000 people are using our network. The project is called Net2Home, and we are hoping to expand it. And the idea is to have this ISP running at a rural community. And initially, I put the John Postel Service Award that I received in 2016 into this project, but gradually we are getting the villagers themselves to own the project. Yeah. So that one activity that APNIC is doing. Another one is to do with, which has to do with infrastructure development, is APNIC. Many of you in this room may have heard about APNIC because APNIC have been actively involved in APNIC. So APNIC was again initiated in 2013. We started by, the reason why we addressed this problem, because as you can see at the top, the internet connectivity in Thailand was like it's like mesh network up on the on that corner, where you have what they call NICs or national IX connecting to one another in a mesh fashion. So we found that a lot of times we found that packet loss happen in our network, which has a lot of connectivity, but yet the performance was quite unreasonable. So we try to come up with this star with network with a switch in the middle, so that people can exchange in more effectively. So our initiative took place in 2013 with the support of the NBTC and Ministry of ICT at that time, Ministry of Science, NASDA, and APNIC, EDDA. We together we had kind of workshop to come up with consensus to go ahead with an IX project. And with that, we had a lot of support from our international friends, like NSRC, Interlab is IIT, and IIJ Japan, and APNIC, and Google. So from that meeting, we started to work on the APNIC project, and I think I mentioned my dream at one of ISOC meetings. So ISOC helped me in getting Alcatel to donate their switch to our IX, and we got help from another friend, NetNod, to train our engineer to get started. So this is how it worked. So by today, everything is operational, and we now have 20 members, and I think that peak traffic is 30 gig. So everything is now roaring, and I think we are happy to take part in this kind of event like APNIC or Apricot, and to learn from the community and to exchange and to work with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Kanchana, for sharing and supporting the internet development in Thailand and in the region. Now I'd like to invite Kun Moragot for his welcome remarks, Chair of TISPA. Thank you so much.
APNIC Executive Committee, distinguished guests, on behalf of Thai Internet Service Provider Association, or TISPA, I would like to welcome the guests from abroad and Thai friends to join this technical event in Chiang Mai. very exciting that APNIC come back again after 17 years in 202 apricot. TISPA is a co-host of this conference. We formed the association since 1997 that growing with the APNIC and work very close with APNIC in terms of the internet connectivity and domain name. The main objective is to promote the collaboration and cooperation among all stakeholders in Thailand, including public, ISP, regulator, government agency, and peer. We have 20 member ISP in the association. You may totally different from 220 that NBTC record, but the 20 member is cover the more than 90% of the internet user in Thailand. Our job is offer the coordination and represent our ISP, at least our member, with the response to the activity related to government agency requirement or collaboration. All the committee are from executive of ISP, but each of us will do the best to act as the internet of the industry, public, or the country, not only ourselves. We participate or sharing our view regarding to the rule regulation and regarding to the industry here. We represent and respond to media or public in the case that related to the industry and ISP operation. We promote the knowledge, experience, and practice sharing among the members via seminar, social group, collaboration, meeting, and on our website. And definitely we are all APNIC members. I think this is a very good opportunity for not only the ISP technical guy from Thailand, but we have very good to participate in this conference to share and learn from the colleagues and experts all over our region. So I wish we will be able to gain more within these two days. And welcome again to the conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Kun Moragat. Thank you for your welcome remarks. Now I'd like to invite Director General of APNIC, Paul Wilson. 2 minutes.
Thank you, Sunny. Hi, everyone, and welcome to APNIC 48. As Gaurav said, it's great to bring the APNIC conference back here after some time. It's actually not that we haven't been back in Thailand. APNIC has been involved with a lot of training activities here. We've been at and we've been supporting ThaiNog and the BKNICS Peering Forum, AINTEC, the annual conference, quite a few other events with ITU and APT as well. But bringing this conference back here to Thailand has been our hope and mine personally, and for quite some time. So really happy that we could finally make that happen. But that's not our work. It's thanks so much to our hosts, to the THNIC Foundation and to TISPA. Thank you so much to Kanchana and Moragot for your role here and for your leading work in Thailand as well. And to Dr. Thanapant, we're really honoured to have you here today, especially to share the latest data about incredible growth of the industry and the internet in Thailand. So thanks to you all as well for being here, especially if this is your first APNIC meeting. Then, as Gaurav said, please do take this opportunity to make new friends and colleagues from around the region. Now, you might have noticed that this conference features a lot of content on security this week. That's quite deliberate. It's in response to what we hear from the APNIC community, what we hear through the APNIC survey, and what we know about how important network security is for all of us in the internet industry these days. So we've got security keynotes coming up this morning. We've got a security track through the conference tomorrow. We've got a special focus this week on something that's quite close to APNIC's heart and to the responsibilities of all of us, and that's routing security, RPKI in particular. And also RPKI applications like ROV, Route Origin Validation. These are what we at APNIC are calling the next generation of registry services. So just recently, the internet passed 100,000 validated prefixes globally. About a quarter of APNIC members have got RPKI certificates registered in the system, and those with ROAs run to about 16%. So that is really great progress. There's plenty more work to do, but it's great progress considering how fast things are moving. We're seeing really big players like NTT and AT&T and Amazon and Cloudflare and others who are now requiring origin validation for users by users of their services. And we all know as well how common routing system problems are happening these days with hijacks and fat fingers and all sorts of problems which are really causing problems at the infrastructure level. So Job and Narelle will get the ball rolling just in a few minutes with keynotes on security, on RPKI in a moment. Tomorrow we've got 2 dedicated sessions on RPKI. We've got an RPKI BOF, a ROA signing social event, and yesterday, in fact, we had an RPKI deploy-a-thon, which seemed to be a really interesting event for all involved. The idea, of course, is for more APNIC members and community members to get involved to make use of RPKI. So if you haven't done it yet, then you can visit the APNIC Members Lounge to get help with creating and registering your ROAs. APNIC staff will be happy to help you, or go along to that ROA signing social tomorrow. You might even get a T-shirt, I think, if you do the deed. For that matter, if there's anything at all that you need this week while you're here in Chiang Mai, then APNIC staff are here to help you, whether you're an APNIC member or not. So please track down any of us if there's any way that we can help you at all. That's what we're here to do. So that's enough from me, I'm sure. It's time to get the conference started with quite a bang, I think, they tell me. So thank you again for being here, and all the best for this week. Thank you.
Paul? This is photo. I'd like to invite all the distinguished guests for a group photo, please. Thank you. Air Marshal, Professor Kanchana, Kun Moragot, and of course, Gaurav. Please give them a round of applause to the welcome distinguished guests. Thank you so much, and we have a little surprise. We have a little performance by, just looking for my notes, by Wat Pa So Noi drummer group, and they will be entering the room now. Just a 5-minute performance, and then after that we'll go into the keynotes. we'll let the drummers go out of this room, and then we'll have the keynotes. We have two keynotes for today. One is from Narelle Wakely. She's going to speak about her experience in organizing Commonwealth Games in Australia in 2018. And then we have Snijders. Later I'll explain about his presentation. But can we get the podium on the stage, please? Did we get the clicker back? Oh, clicker is on the podium.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here in Chiang Mai. My name's Narelle Wakely. That picture you see behind me is of one of the beautiful beaches on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia, where we had the pleasure of hosting the 2018 Commonwealth Games. The Commonwealth Games occur every 4 years. They're like a mini Olympics. There's over 50 countries that are a part of the Commonwealth. And every 4 years, they get together and have a lot of fun for 2 weeks. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how cybersecurity played out for Optus in the Commonwealth Games. The cybersecurity industry today is working well in sharing threat intelligence and indicators of compromise. But businesses that are operating on the internet are often trying to solve 80% of the same problems. So we need to do a lot better at collaborating and sharing on the solutions that are working for cybersecurity. So in the spirit of that sort of collaboration, we thought we'd share with you what we did for cybersecurity in the Commonwealth Games and what worked for us. But it's over 18 months ago since the Games occurred, so I thought I'd just play a very short video to take you back to what it was like, what Optus needed to do to provide the network for the Games. It's a little bit salesy, but while you're watching this video, I want you to think about what are the cybersecurity risks here? Thank you. We're just getting some volume now. Sorry about that, people. It worked well yesterday. We do test and practice. I think we'll have to go without it. What a shame. No volume. Okay. We'll go back to the slides. What the video was going to show you was that it was like building a mini city. It was a game of firsts. So it was the first time that the challenger telco Optus was awarded the rights to build the games. It was the first time that we chose to also provide the ICT services with the network, and that all the data, broadcast and network capability was going to happen across the same network. It was also a lot of firsts for the Commonwealth Games Authority. It was the first time that they achieved gender parity with the same number of female events as male events. It was the first time they ran the disabled body events at the same time as the able-bodied events. It was the first time that they hosted the games in a regional location. Now that created a lot of logistic issues, people issues, transport and infrastructure issues. From a networking perspective, we weren't just operating the games on the Gold Coast in Queensland. And if this works, that's where the Gold Coast is. There were events being hosted in far north Queensland in Cairns. We had a unified data comms centre down here in Melbourne. And across on the west coast of Australia, we had one of our critical partners, Atos, and their data centre. So when a swimmer reached out and touched the wall, winning the race, or when an athlete crossed the line, those results had to get from the Gold Coast across to Perth, here in WA, and back again within milliseconds. So the network's availability and reliability and integrity were critical to the success of the Games. But there were many partners that were involved in the Games, not just Atos, the Games recording systems. There was global broadcasting companies, local media, other technology providers. There were VIP guests staying at hotels, coming into the airports. There was government departments providing transport and intelligence from a security perspective. There was a whole ecosystem of partners that this network had to provide a service for. And this was the architectural blueprint of that network. It was made up of 5 fibre rings, and the principles behind that network were to be flexible, so it could make changes rapidly as needed, to be low risk, so to have a sense of redundancy, no single points of failure, 2 secure points of interconnect to the internet, a trust no one security model, and tools that enabled us to have the visibility of the network so we could be proactive rather than reactive to any risks. When I joined the project, this is what I was told we were doing. This is what we were delivering for the Commonwealth Games. But a defining moment for cybersecurity was to actually create a program of work that actually touched every aspect of our Commonwealth Games project, not just the network. We had executive sponsorship that enabled us to have a horizontal view across the project. So we got involved in marketing and social media. We got involved in the people aspects of the project. We got involved with other sponsors, with the other partners. We got involved with the government relationships. It's important to understand that cybersecurity is no longer a part of IT or infrastructure or network. It is a part of your business, and you need to bring it out and across your whole organisation. And this was one of the key success factors that we had in our program. It enabled us to come together and demonstrate a whole organisational approach, as we refer to now as a one Optus approach. But we're here to talk about cybersecurity. So what actually happened? So leading into 2018, we need to understand from a geopolitical perspective what was also going on at that time. We had rising escalations between the UK government and the Russian government, with the former spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter getting poisoned on UK soil. We also had the traditional foes of the US and North Korea talking about coming together for face-to-face meetings for the first time. That could possibly be happening in Singapore. The timing wasn't known. Our parent company is a Singaporean company, so that was adding heightened risks to us as a network provider. This is a high-level view of the cybersecurity events around the Games. And it's interesting to point out that way back in February, we were detecting cyber activity. So don't think that just because your network goes live in April 2018, you need a cybersecurity response team. You need to be able to detect and to respond to cyber incidents as early as you can. Make sure you have a cybersecurity team in place early, not just at the end. I've jumped forward a couple of slides now, I can see. The first thing I wanted to talk to you about is an event that happened 2 months prior to our Commonwealth Games, and that was the Winter Olympics in South Korea. They had a major cyber incident during their opening ceremony. It's now known as the Olympic destroyer worm, and it was very disruptive in deleting files and corrupting systems. It was very disruptive through their opening ceremony. You can read further about this in the Cisco Talos blog. It's very interesting. What we determined is we had similar infrastructure and applications to the Winter Olympics, and so it really put us on heightened alert. So what did we do about that? So this is the cybersecurity team that was brought together for the Commonwealth Games. Originally, Optus wasn't a part of that team. We were the network provider, but we did insist on getting engaged in this team. We were able to provide thought leadership and actually get involved in doing a lot of work with this team to ensure that our network was protected and was available and reliable for the whole ecosystem of the Games. We also got involved in a very complicated governance model that was operating through the game. So it was very hierarchical, as well as cross communications needed from the Games Authority through the other government authorities around the nation. We made sure we were involved in those meetings to again put cybersecurity on the agenda and make sure everybody understood the risks. But it wasn't just the Games network. Optus was a Tier 1 sponsor to the Games, which meant our brand was going to be all over everything you saw to do with the Games. That's like putting a target on your back. So we also created a lot of work around Optus BAU, uplifting the cyber resiliency across the whole organisation. So when we talk about the Olympic destroyer worm, I want to reiterate to you, you need to practice cybersecurity scenarios. You need to exercise your teams. And by exercising those 3 particular channels, the cybersecurity team, the greater governance teams, and our own BAU organisation, we were able to bring everybody together with clear roles and responsibilities. We were able to find gaps in our processes, which I'll highlight further down the track. And we were able to actually exercise a real world event. So don't just make up your scenarios, draw on existing incidents that are happening globally and use those to practice. Denial of service or distributed denial of service is a reality today as well, operating on the internet. And of course it was one of our major threats that we were preparing for, to protect against, to detect and respond against. 1 month before the opening ceremony, there was the biggest denial of service that the internet had ever seen. 1.3 to 1.7 terabytes of data hit GitHub. And we thought, oh dear, that's a big wave to come. We were quite worried about it. And we were worried about it also because we didn't have just one DDoS provider, protection provider. We had 3. We had Cloudflare protecting the Commonwealth Games website. We had Akamai protecting our points of interconnect off the Games network. We had Arbor back and Optus proper. What would happen if one of those DDoS controls fired? How would that impact normal traffic, international traffic, Games traffic? We were all talking about it, but it was until we got in a room and actually drew this up that we all went, okay, we understand it, we understand what's going to happen, we've got a visual diagram. So my second point to you is to make sure that you visualise, put on a page, get those diagrams going. It really aids in communication to everybody in your team and into your management layers. So what happened during our opening ceremony, of course, we were on tender hooks. Was the Olympic destroyer worm going to attack us as well? It was a weeknight. The opening ceremony starts at 8 p.m. At 7 p.m, the Optus network operations team started to see peaks in traffic. And they went, oh, here comes the denial of service. They reached out to the Games network team and said, are you seeing this traffic peaks? And they said, no, we're not. And so the network operations team and Optus did further investigations. And luckily we found out it was a false positive. So it was the Fortnite game, and if you've got teenage children that play PlayStation games, it was Fortnite doing a very large update. And of course that had to happen an hour before our opening ceremony, didn't it? So everybody had come home, done their homework, had their evening meal, and gone to turn on PlayStation. And that was our false positive denial of service during our opening ceremony. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about is critical vulnerabilities and how you present cybersecurity as a business risk and how you help that decision making at that business level. So just as we'd gone live with our Games network, Cisco issued 2 critical vulnerabilities. Now they can't get much more critical than 9.8 out of 10. And we all know what we do with critical vulnerabilities. We patch them as soon as possible with an emergency change. That's what we're all taught to do. But we had a situation where this network, we've just got it going, the events are running. Do we patch and risk disrupting the network availability? Do we not patch and risk being exploited by this vulnerability? What can we do to help make this business decision? Do you remember that 5-ring diagram of the network architecture? Well, this is what it looked like from a security perspective. A lot different and a lot more complicated. But this security blueprint on a page enabled us as a multi-vendor team to come together as one team. So on the top half of the diagram, we've got the security controls and coloured coded about who was responsible for those controls and delivering that. On the bottom half, you've got from left to right the connection to the internet all the way through to the back end in Optus. By putting it on a page, we were able to onboard people very quickly into the team. This was our scope, this was who's doing what, this is what it looked like from a cyber perspective. Very different from those 5 rings. It enabled us to do some wonderful threat modelling, whereas on the left-hand side, you've got the common cyber threats. On the right-hand side, what is it we were trying to protect? What controls did we have in the middle? Where were we logging into our SIEM? It enabled us to quickly put these things and identify the gaps. It also enabled us to very quickly highlight where changes were happening from a cybersecurity perspective and what the impacts of those changes were. So when we were debating about what to do with these Cisco vulnerabilities, we did some mapping on this page, and our management team by now were very familiar with this diagram and what the changes meant. And so we were very quickly able to articulate that we would only apply the critical patch to 3 routers and we would not apply it to 133 switches. Now that's a big call to make for a 9.8 out of 10 critical vulnerability. But we were able to evaluate that from a risk perspective at a business level due to having clear communication diagrams like the one in front of you. So I'm pleased to say that we had no cyber disruptions through the Commonwealth Games. We had 100% network availability. It truly was a gold-winning performance. And why is that? Well, it really comes down to having the right people in place. So not only did we have technical security analysts on site, but we also had executive cyber leadership physically in the room. And that person was also able to engage with government teams, engage with senior people in the the Commonwealth Games Authority, engage with our executive. So don't think cybersecurity is a technical analyst any longer. It is an executive type of resource. We had the right processes in place, but we also tested those processes. So practice your cybersecurity scenarios with real-time events. Have a security blueprint on a page. What does your network look like from a cybersecurity perspective? Know what controls you have in place and who's responsible for them. And also we really did have really good technology in place too that enabled us to have great visibility and a security trust no one model. Thank you.
Can we play the video? Narelle, would you like to play the video or leave it for now?
Have you got it working? Yeah, why not? Gone to all the effort to bring it.
They're trying hard.
With one immovable deadline.
I would draw a line of comparison to building a small city.
You couldn't get a better partner than Optus, so it's great technology, great partnership, sends a powerful signal about how important these games are. It was an event of firsts. The first games ever hosted in a regional location. The first time broadcast, voice and data were delivered over one unique network. The first time that games, telecommunications and ICT services were delivered by the same provider. the first simultaneous showcase of 5G and 8K video capabilities with Optus 5G Live.
Gold Coast 2018 highlights the very best of what Optus has to offer. Collaboration, dedication and commitment to delivering world-class technology on the global stage.
We have that spark, that positive charge. No hurdle too high, no distance too far, no challenge too great. It was a game of firsts, but it won't be the last. Because even as we cross the finish line, we know we're not done. We're just getting started.
Thank you.
Thank you, Narelle, and apologize for that in the beginning.
I'd just like to also say keep an eye on the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. It's going to be huge from a robotics and AI perspective, which just increases the landscape for cybersecurity disruption. So, you know, I really feel for those people and wish them all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Narelle, and round of applause, please. I'd like to invite Job Snijders from NGT Communications to talk about the path towards a more robust internet. Thank you.
Wow, it is quite an adventure to be here. I was very surprised when APNIC approached me like, hey Joe, would you like to speak in front of a room full of people that make decisions about routing security? And I was like, yes! Thank you for the welcome. I especially appreciated the dancing and music earlier on. It is always interesting to observe that despite cultural differences, despite distance, despite that we may even look different, we have one thing that unifies us, and that is loud drums. So, my name is Job Snijders. I work for NTT. NTT is a global services company. I think we sell everything. And today I would like to talk about some developments in relation to routing security. This is an integral part of how we make a more robust internet. You can see I started with my slides early. When I saw this in the hallway, it struck me as this is exactly what we are doing. We are trying to create an open internet that is accessible to everybody, that can be enjoyed on a multitude of devices from different vendors. It has to be stable, it has to be secure, because our lives depend on it. My salary is a direct function of the internet's well-being, so it is in my personal interest that all of this works as robustly as possible. I communicate with my friends through the internet. There is no way I would be able to maintain the social connections I have today without the internet. I'm a big fan. So what can we do to make it better? In this presentation, I would like to address that there are some challenges in BGP traffic engineering. Some of these challenges are solved in ways that are risky for other operators, and those risks are what we need to address through the use of RPKI origin validation. And then I'll give you a summary on what happened in the last few months in this problem space. When we look at traffic engineering, there is always two directions to consider: inbound and outbound. Wow, was it without microphone before? With inbound, I mean traffic that flows from the internet towards your network. With outbound, I mean from you towards users on the internet. Inbound traffic engineering is not what we will cover here today, because it's fairly straightforward. You can use AS path prepending, you can deaggregate your routes, you can force traffic over certain links. But all of that traffic engineering only affects your domain. Outbound traffic engineering may be a different type of game, and we'll go through why that is so very different. In the outbound direction, imagine you are some ISP and you want to send traffic to Singtel. Between you and Singtel, there are a multitude of carriers, Transit 1, Transit 2, and perhaps an internet exchange. Challenges you may have is that in the particular location you are connecting to the internet, there is a limited amount of bandwidth available. Maybe there is not sufficient fiber capacity in that direction, or maybe the market you are operating in faces challenges in terms of anti-competitiveness. It may be that your organization's core business is actually not internet itself, but something else that results in your staff, you not having full-time staff to focus on internet engineering. It's wild out there. There's almost 70,000 ASNs in the default free zone, and all of them operate under different constraints with different missions, different profit models. We see everything in the wild. And then there is software out there that promises to take away the challenges that you may be facing. The software advertises it will improve performance, reduce cost, optimize, monitor things. And all of this sounds great on paper. If I were a C-level person and this is presented to me, I'd be like, check, check, check. These are all things I want. Now, let's deconstruct how some of the software that is available today actually accomplishes these feats. You can install appliances called BGP optimizers. And these appliances may be probing the different paths between you and the final destination that you're trying to reach. And based on this probing, they'll instruct the network to make certain decisions. For instance, maybe one of your upstream providers is a 10 gig connection, the other upstream provider is a 1 gig connection, and it is economically of interest to you to try and squeeze the maximum out of those connections so you have at least a total aggregate of 11 gigabits. And the way to do this is to balance traffic across the multiple links that you have. The reality of having installed such appliances is that you may be a ticking time bomb without realizing it. And I hope nobody takes offense with the visual imagery that is used here. In fact, some of these BGP appliances can result in significant problems for others. If we look at the Singtel example, Singtel is advertising a /12 IPv4 block through one of their subsidiaries, and the BGP optimizing software will force half the traffic over one particular link by announcing what is called a more specific route into the network operator's domain that installed this BGP optimizer. And this fake more specific has the next hop IP address of Transit 1 or perhaps Transit 2 if it's another piece of the /12. And the purpose of these more specifics is to distribute the traffic across the available links. And this seemingly seems innocent. This seems like a good strategy to make sure packets are going in the right direction. But these more specific routes, the /13, the /14 blocks, were never authorized by Singtel to exist in the first place. And if these route announcements that were not created by Singtel itself leak into the global internet, we have problems on a global scale. It not only affects the connectivity between the operator that installed the BGP optimizer and Singtel itself, but it will negatively impact NTT, PCCW, the whole world. The reason why, if those fake more specifics somehow leak from the BGP optimizer to the global internet, a data plane routing loop comes into existence. Because Transit 1's routing table has routes pointing towards the customer with the BGP optimizer, and according to BGP, that is how traffic should be delivered. But that customer has a forwarding state pointed back to the transit provider and is trying to deliver packets that way. So packets from all over the globe through Transit 1 are trying to reach what they think is the destination, but are looping in circles and never arrive at the original destination. And this means that every end user that is subscribed and has internet access through that /12 block suddenly is deprived of their internet access. And these BGP optimizers are how you can take entire countries offline. So, having acknowledged that there are legitimate needs for BGP traffic engineering, but at the same time acknowledge that BGP optimizers are a risk, how do we proceed? How do we view this type of issue? And in a way, I think the BGP default free zone should be considered akin to a natural resource, much like a river. In this image, you can see a river called the Rijn. I will not be questioning how you pronounce that later on. But this is a river that starts in the middle of Europe, flows through multiple countries, and eventually arrives in the Netherlands. And we are the last ones in that chain to receive water flowing through this river. Now, rivers are used for many, many things. We can use it for transportation, but also for dumping of chemical waste. And for a factory that is located in, say, Germany that needs to get rid of chemical waste, it may be very cheap to put it in the river and away the waste flows. But then for Dutch citizens, that water becomes unusable for drinking or recreational purposes because it's contaminated with these chemicals. And this is curious. In a way, we have to share this river, even though the water starts outside the borders of the Netherlands. But problems that happen upstream have negative consequences downstream. And I think in this very same context, we should consider routing security and the default free zone an analogy. It is something all of us share. It facilitates all of our businesses. We make money using this shared resource, but we also together have to take care of the resource. So why do these incidents happen in the first place? Not all BGP optimizers use industry standard practices such as tagging the fake more specifics with the no export community. And we'll delve into that a little bit later. Unfortunately, not all BGP implementations are without defects. In fact, I have yet to come across perfect software. And the fact that we know that software in and of itself never is perfect, that there's always risks hidden in the software, that even if we configure the device correctly, the device may still be doing something differently than we anticipated. This is why we need better filters at each and every eBGP boundary. And then in the BGP protocol itself, traffic engineering is kind of hard. In the IETF, we did not specify an elegant mechanism that is without risk. This is something we as internet community at some point should perhaps resolve. But as it stands today, our options how to do traffic engineering are limited and somewhat constrained to the risky options. So I don't think these type of issues go away anytime soon. But that doesn't leave us powerless. There are things that we can do. Oh, and about no export, there is one company specifically famous for explicitly denying the use of no export communities in certain contexts, and I would advocate that this is extremely risky behavior, not just for your own company, but for all companies involved. So, what is it you can do? And I think it boils down to two basic steps. One is you need to help others help you. And the way to do this is to publish RPKI ROAS statements. This published information is what we as operators can use to decide, is this a routing incident perhaps caused by a BGP optimizer or a bug or a misconfiguration? Or is this a legitimate announcement that should go into the best path selection procedure? If you do not create RPKI ROAS, I have no way of protecting your business interests. So, do it for selfish reasons. You're not creating RPKI ROAS for me, you are creating ROAS to facilitate your online presence and to try and increase the chances of your company remaining online, even during incidents. Step 2. If you publish RPKI ROAS, you should perhaps also consider using the ROAs that other companies published. If you start using RPKI ROAS and perform what is called BGP origin validation, you will reduce your chances of accepting the wrong routing information. And the moment you accept the wrong routing information, you'll be sending traffic in the wrong direction and it may never arrive at its destination. And this breaks the communication channel between your subscriber and the e-commerce website. So protect yourself against hijacks, misconfigurations, and other problems that may exist in BGP by deploying origin validation. And if you do these two things, you have a very, very robust online presence. This is what makes your internet more secure. A third advice that I have is pair directly with each other. If you combine origin validation and publishing RPKI ROAS with direct BGP sessions with the businesses that are of interest to your business, so imagine I'm a bank in the Netherlands and the majority of my customers actually is located in the Netherlands. I, as a bank, should make sure that I have direct BGP connections with the ISPs that serve the Dutch citizens. And these direct connections, combined with origin validation, is the most powerful protection layer that we have available to ourselves today as an internet community. This is real technology, you can deploy it today. Direct peering has existed for many years. Origin validation is available in almost every BGP implementation. If you combine the two, a lot of the threat model is rendered harmless. Let's take a look at some trends in the industry that may be of interest to your organizations. And if some of the terminology used in these slides is terminology you are not familiar with, please forward slides to your engineering department and instruct them, do this. The first piece of software I would like to highlight is an open source tool called PMACCT. PMACCT is a traffic analysis engine, and this means that this software can consume data from various sources, such as S-flow, NetFlow, IPFix. It will correlate it with BGP information, and the result of that correlation is what you can use in business intelligence analyses. Or in different words, this is software that helps NTT figure out how profitable is the network. Do we have the right customers in the right place? Are we connected with the right networks? Are we doing the best thing for our network, for our performance, but also money-wise? So this type of software can help you figure that out. Now, what we did in PMACCT is we added another data source, which is RPKI. And this allows the software to correlate your BGP information with the amount of traffic that is flowing to certain destinations with RPKI information. And this will allow you to do a number of things. First, it allows you to figure out, will deploying RPKI origin validation have negative consequences to the financial bottom line? And in the case of NTT, I've taken an aggregate overview. We can now conclude, without having deployed origin validation yet, that there will not be commercial impact. The blue is traffic flowing towards destinations that are not covered by RPKI ROAS. So that's basically the internet as we knew it the last 20 years. Yellow is traffic that flows towards destinations that are covered by RPKI ROAS, and the destination, the BGP announcement, is valid according to the origin validation procedure. So the yellow band is essentially traffic that would be protected if we deploy origin validation. And you can see that this is roughly 15%. That is a very significant amount of data that would be protected if we embrace RPKI. And I think you'll see similar numbers in each and all of your networks. So that to me argues that we should deploy. Then we see a sort of purple sliver. That's a particular type of prefix that I'll skip over for the moment. On top of the purple, there's a 1 pixel line that is green, and that is traffic that would potentially no longer flow through NTT's backbone if we deploy origin validation. And the reason it is 1 pixel is that the graph could not make it smaller. To put it differently, 0.00 something of the traffic is traffic that would be negatively impacted through origin validation. But on the flip side, about 15% of the traffic would be positively impacted if we deploy origin validation. So this allows me to explain to managers inside NTT that there is a very clear business case to proceed with origin validation with invalid is reject policies. Now, PM-ACCT is an open source product that is beautiful, but it comes without a nice web front end. Luckily, there are also other alternatives to PM-ACCT, for instance, Kentic, and this is traffic analyzer software that also has the ability to show you what the effects of deploying RPKI origin validation in your network could be without deploying origin validation. So these two software projects are what allow you to make a very informed decision about whether to proceed with origin validation deployment or not. Another piece of software that I would like to highlight and celebrate is IRRD. IRRD is one of those very, very critical components of the internet ecosystem that virtually nobody knows about. It's hidden somewhere under the floor in the basement, and very few people ever pay attention to it. IRRD is what drives each and every eBGP filter that NTT has deployed in its network. It's, to us, one of the most critical pieces of software that we have operating. About 99.999% of our router configurations are generated as a direct result of IRRD. And this IRRD software, for many years, did not receive attention. Nobody was really maintaining it. Nobody thought that improvements were needed until recently, where we discovered that perhaps the IRR databases, which contain a lot of legacy, still, or malicious data, can be cleaned up using RPKI. But in order to improve IRR, we needed to rewrite it from scratch to have the ability to innovate. So the rewrite has been completed, and now we can add new features. These links can help you check out the software if you too have a dependency on IRR. Now, these RPKI filters on the IRRD level will allow the whole internet ecosystem to make large sweeps in cleaning up data that otherwise would be hard to validate. And the trick will be that between an unvalidated IRR source, such as the REACH database or RADB or NTT Comms database, and clients consuming that data, in the middle of that is the IRRD daemon, and we can insert filters there which allows us to improve the quality of the data that the clients, such as BGP Q3, use without changing the clients. So by changing this critical component that nobody knew about to do filtering there, we do not need to upgrade hundreds of systems on the globe. We just need to upgrade a few of these servers, and protection layers will spread out to all of us using IRR data. A similar effort exists in the RIPE NCC region. You may wonder, what do we have to do with RIPE? We are now in APNIC. Job, you're at the wrong conference. As it happens, for historical reasons, a lot of routing registrations happened in the RIPE database despite those IP resources not being managed by RIPE. And this resulted in a complicated situation where RIPE hosts data both for its own members, but also for entities outside the RIPE region. And perhaps there isn't even any contractual or authoritative relation with such entities. And in the RIPE non-authoritative database, also APNIC space is registered, and this may be without the knowledge or consent of those APNIC members. But cleaning those objects up one by one is going to be challenging because there is more than 65,000 of such objects. RPKI to the rescue. The proposal on the table right now in the RIPE community is to use RPKI data as published by all the RERs, including APNIC, and use that RPKI data to decide which route objects should exist or should not exist. And if they should not exist because the route object is in direct conflict with the RPKI ROAS that cover the IP resource, then such a route object should be deleted. And the deletion of those objects makes every eBGP filter narrower and narrower and narrower to the point that all of us enjoy an improved security posture. So I hope that this policy proposal will be formally accepted in the weeks or months to come, that RIPE NCC implements it, and from that moment on, if you are an APNIC member, if you have IP space, and you discover that your IP space also is registered in one of the RIPE databases, but this was without your knowledge, if you then create an RPKI ROA, automatically cleanup in the IRR ecosystem will take place. And this will benefit all of us. Then finally, some of you may know BGPmon. BGPmon, for many, many years, was the trusted tool for network operators to receive alerts if a BGP hijack or incident took place that affects your company's resources. It is incredibly useful to receive an email when somebody hijacks your IP space. Unfortunately, this company was bought by a company, bought by a company, bought by a company that decided that BGPmon is not commercially viable and they are going to pull the plug. And then worldwide, when that announcement came out, you could hear network engineers scream like, oh, what are we going to do now? Well, now I am proud to announce an open source alternative, an entity initiative called BGP Alerter. BGP Alerter is software that is freely available to all of you. You can install it on your own equipment. And what it allows you to do is it takes data from route collectors spread over the whole world. It runs that data through clever analysis filters that figure out, is this normal behavior or is this an incident? And if it is an incident, it can emit what we call reports. And this can be through email or Slack or whatever your company's preferred communication channel is, and inform you almost in real time when BGP incidents happen that negatively affect you. So BGP Alerter can be used for fundamentally two types of incidents. One is the type of incident where one of your staff or one of your routers has an issue and you stop advertising your prefixes to the internet. When you stop advertising your prefixes, it is incredibly useful to get an alert about that. And the other is when BGP hijacks occur. And these hijacks can occur either because of misconfigurations or because of BGP optimizers or other reasons. It doesn't matter what the underlying reason is, but this software can be used to in near real time inform your network operations center that something somewhere is going wrong. When you start the software, it subscribes to the prefixes you configured it to monitor, and if something is wrong, it will start logging it or start emailing it depending on how you configure it, or send it to Slack. Then finally, I've been preaching about RPKI origin validation for a while, and you may think, well, Job, how do we know what you are saying is actually true? And when we started this journey to evangelize and promote RPKI as the best, most viable solution to improve our routing security issues, virtually nobody had deployed RPKI. You actually may remember that RPKI became available more than 5 years ago, and nothing happened. So a year ago, Ben Cox, I asked him, can you maybe help measure how popular this RPKI thing is on the real internet? And about a year ago, we could measure that there were 50 autonomous system numbers, or 50 ISPs, that were using RPKI ROAS to make better routing decisions. And this is data from last Friday, so this is hot off the press. In the latest measurement, we saw that more than 600 ASNs were behind origin validation, from our perspective. And I don't want to upset the scientists in this room. You know, there are statistics and then there is damn lies. It kind of depends on how you look at the data. To me, the most important takeaway from these measurements is not necessarily their accuracy, but the trend. That in 12 months, a lot of companies started deploying origin validation. And these measurements don't even cover all of the deployments. For instance, route server deployments at internet exchanges are less visible in this type of measurement. But I have received tens of reports from internet exchanges that proceeded to deploy origin validation. And from roughly an IPv4/10 that was being protected with origin validation, so I'm not talking about ROAS, but the IP space residing in autonomous systems which have deployed origin validation, it grew from a /10 to roughly 6 IPv4/8 blocks. And that means we only have another 200 to go. If we keep doing it at the current pace, we'll be done with this project in 1 to 2 years. And it is very exciting to see the internet industry at large, at a global scale, move this fast and adopt a technology in this pace. In other words, I would argue RPKI is more popular at this moment than IPv6. Haha. If you want to read about how this is measured and access the data, click the link. But the takeaway is origin validation is wildly popular. Every single tier 1 provider I've spoken to has it on their roadmap. All the big CDNs have it on their roadmap or are already deploying. This is real. It's happening. People are deploying RPKI, and I really hope that all of you will join them. So with that, we've come to the end of my presentation. If you would like to reach out and ask me questions or request some clarification on details, please email me. It doesn't matter to me whether you're a competitor or a customer. I am happy to help everyone. And I will leave it with the chair whether we want to do questions now or go to lunch.
I would request everyone to take the questions offline because we are way over the time. But
right.
Thank you so much for your presentation and sharing.
Thank you for your time.
If you could please stay on the stage, and I invite Narelle and Paul Wilson for a group photo and gift exchange, please.
I'm really hoping there's a small IPv4 block in that box.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the invite. This was awesome.
Jobs, please. While they're taking the group photo, just housekeeping notes, and do apologize, we're running a bit late. So if you have any questions or comments, please approach the speakers during the lunch break.